risk is different for different people. So back then, I figured, look, if this thing doesn't work, Bitcoin goes to zero, I would find another job very quickly. I can always find another job, and the chance of Bitcoin going to zero is zero. Bitcoin is not like Bitcoin is a technology that's evolving. So we've seen that with the internet. There can be ups and downs with the companies performing well, not well, but the internet itself is growing. So technologies don't go away. Internet deals with information. Now we're dealing with money. This new technology is going to have much bigger impact than that technology that deals with money or with information. So I think the impact is going to be quite big. And it's actually because the impacts are so big, we actually need to proceed slowly and carefully and steadily so that we don't cause big disruptions. We can have small iterations, but big disruptions are bad. So yeah, so that's how I view it.
The FTX scandal raised many doubts about CZ's intentions and the possibility of Binance being the following exchange to collapse. However, even though some of the theories about CZ being the bad guy still exist, he seems calm as usual, and in this video, you will see why he went all in Bitcoin and where we are going in the future as an industry. So pay close attention until the end, as this content is fire. First, after all the mess we have been living, what are Binance's CEO recommendations now?
Actually, the key lesson that we learn is let's go back to basics, right? Let's stick with fundamentals. Let's build sustainable businesses. Let's focus on the technology. So let's build use cases, build products people use. So I think, look, all the hype goes away. When the tide recedes, all the hype goes away. It's the fundamentals that matter. So all this talk, all this, everything else doesn't matter. So I think that's what it is really. So I think we got to continue to build products people use, keep everything safe, be very reliable, and work closely with regulators. I think education is super important. Binance is doing a lot of it. You guys are doing quite a lot of it. We should continue to do that as an industry. We should educate normal users about risks, how to manage their risks, etc. We should be educating or working collaboratively with regulators all around the world. And then trust is built over time. Well, there's actually three parts to building trust. We're in an industry where we can use some of the technologies that are trustless. So we can be more transparent, proof of reserves, Merkle trees, Zcash snarks, etc. So we can use those. Those are technology driven. The second part is to just be more transparent. Be more transparent with our community, with our users, with regulators. And then the third part, which really just takes time, trust is built over time. If we can consistently demonstrate we're reliable, we're consistent, we do what we say, we will earn our users' trust over time. So I think we've done that for the last 5.5 years, and we'll continue to do that hopefully for the next 500 years.
What recommendation can CZ give people who want to build on blockchain technology?
The simplest thing I would say is don't focus on the money, focus on the users. So there's many different ways to say that. In our industry, we're so close. We're in a money industry. We're so close to the money. You can issue a coin. You can have large supply. You can sell them. Then suddenly you're a multi-millionaire. You can even be a billionaire. But so many people get distracted by that, and that's all they focus on. Instead, then we should be focusing on product and users. Make sure you build a product that people use, and people use consistently. If you can do that, the realization of the value or the monetization of it you can always do it. I cannot comment on specific projects. I have a rule not to do that.
That's fine.
I get into I get all kind of accusations of potential manipulation, whatever. But I think every use case is important. The market will determine which ones are more important than others by adoption, right? So if you're working on a use case that addresses a key concern, then you will see more usage of your product. So I think layer ones are really important. Layer ones within enterprises, I think that's got to be very important. Like the number of transactions may be lower, but the volume should be much higher.
And you can see he doesn't want to be accused of market manipulations again. So CZ doesn't like commenting on specific projects anymore. Being the most influential person in crypto, we can assume everyone is watching him closely. But do you want to know why CZ decided to go all in into Bitcoin and take a giant leap of faith?
So lastly, all of us have had our crypto aha moment. So could you share with the world what your crypto aha moment is? What got you into this space?
Yeah, so I think my aha moment is probably going to be December 2013 in Las Vegas. There was a Bitcoin conference, maybe with like 100-something people, a very small conference. So I come to learn about Bitcoin in mid 2013. So, and I've been reading about the white paper, downloaded the wallet, playing with it. There's much less material back then than there is now. I understood the technology, and I think, well, in my work, but we need a community behind it. So that's why I went to a conference in December 2013. And at the time, the news headlines were all Silk Road, drug lords using Bitcoin, etc. But when you entered the conference, Vitalik was there, Matt Rozek was there. It was a bunch of geeks, a bunch of kids, the programmers, the developers, the bunch of really, really nice people. And then after that conference, I said, if this is a community that's behind it, I can do it. So that's why after that conference, I quit my job, started looking for a new job in the crypto industry, the Bitcoin industry back then. And then I sold my apartment and converted that into Bitcoin.
You really dive in both feet first. I mean, that's quite a commitment to sell your apartment to just buy Bitcoin. That's really impressive. It shows you have a lot of courage, and you really took a big leap of faith back then.
So risk is different for different people. So back then, I figured, look, if this thing doesn't work, Bitcoin goes to zero, I would find another job very quickly. I can always find another job. And the chance of Bitcoin going to zero is zero. Bitcoin is not, like, Bitcoin is a technology that's evolving. So we've seen that with the internet. There can be ups and downs with the companies performing well, not well, but the internet itself is growing. So technologies don't go away. Big technologies like Bitcoin, internet, the concept in our heads. If we shut down Bitcoin, if we shut down internet today, there will be internet too, because we know how to do it now.
Most people don't know the story behind his success with Binance. It didn't happen overnight, and CZ went from working at McDonald's to one of the wealthiest guys in the world in just a couple of years. You can either take that as inspiration or think he did something wrong. But there's a reason why he did go all in and why he decided to put his life at risk.
All the people in the room are blockchain either convinced or curious or skeptical. If you were to give them just one insight into why, they should stick the long game, stick around with the industry, especially given the recent torsion, what would your single message be, especially to an audience as largely not crypto native?
Yeah, so I think the simplest thing is this is just a new technology for money, right? And the technology doesn't go away. So if we backtrack a bit, if we think about the internet, the internet was just a new technology for transferring information. That's all it is. It's just TCP/IP packets over the wire or over the air. And with that simple technology, we built this entire ecosystem out of it. There's social media, there's search, there's e-commerce, there's many things. We can't even really imagine the world without internet now. But that just comes from the technology to transfer information. And blockchain is a new technology to transfer value. So if internet deals with information, now we're dealing with money. This new technology is going to have much bigger impact than that technology that deals with money or with information. So I think the impact is going to be quite big. And it's actually because the impacts are so big, we actually need to proceed slowly and carefully and steadily so that we don't cause big disruptions. We can have small iterations, but big disruptions are bad. So so that's how I view it, how I conceptualize it.
And these are some of the principles he goes by in his life.
And I believe that the principles of a company are really a reflection of its leaders. Renal and I are very, very, we're very committed to these principles, these core values. Could you share with us what your personal principles and values are? And, what do you live by?
Yeah, actually, I wrote this down. I have it in a blog post. It's not very well written. I'm still working on on version 2. So I had the privilege and the honor to meet with Ray Dalio maybe about 8 months ago. And I've met him over, like 4 or 5 times over the last 8-9 months. And when I first met him, before I first met him, I read his books about principles. But I was trying to write down my own principles. It was super difficult. It was very, very difficult to generalize your principles so that they handle special cases, etc. But after I met him, he gave me a tip that made me able to write them down. So that 2-pager that I had before I met him became a 20-pager. So he was actually my inspiration and kind of coach helping me to write down my principles. It's a 20-page document now. It's on the Binance blog. If you search for CZ principles, you'll find it. I'm actually rewriting the second version. The content are mostly the same. There's some additions, but I'm restructuring the document so that it's a simpler read. So very simple things like there's simple things like always do the right thing, always be ethical. There's some controversial things like never sign exclusive contracts, never enter into exclusive agreements, there's some weaknesses too.
So what do you think? Is CZ one of the good guys left in the industry we can trust on? Or should we take it with a grain of salt, knowing he is the owner of the biggest centralized exchange? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoy our daily crypto content, please leave a like and subscribe for more. Thanks.